Hello friends, it's Nancy from Astrology and Angel Mediums, and today I have a beautiful deck unboxing. Now this is a deck that I really wanted whenever I was following the artist's progress of creating this deck. Unfortunately, I kind of missed their indie print, run, and it was one of those decks that I was like so sad about. There's a couple that I, would have loved to have been able to back or been able to, be a part of like their indie print runs. And it's one of these things where I try not to think about it too much because I'm like, oh, it makes me so sad that I didn't have that in my practice. So, when I saw that they actually did a mass market, print of this deck, I was like, you know what? I'll take it because I just thought the deck was so stunning and so interesting and so different from anything else that I have currently. So this is the Blood Moon Tarot by Sam Guay, and it is mass produced by US Games. So I don't really have too many US Games decks to actually be quite honest in my collection. I don't really gravitate towards a lot of the stuff that they put together, but this was one that I was like, I'm getting it. I don't care. It might be really out there, but after, just kind of following the campaign and the cards and the artist, kind of emails and updates for so many years, I was like, it's just such a fascinating looking deck. So this is going to be a 78 card deck. It is a tarot deck. And so there is a guidebook as well that comes with it, I'm assuming, in here. So we'll see how this goes, because I was like, I'm just going to get it. And it's just beautiful to me. So, it's like a hardcover book. Was not expecting that. This is gorgeous. This would even look nice on the shelf, just on my bookshelf. That is stunning. So full color hardcover book with the deck, which is nice. And then there is the different interpretations in here. So let's see how they did the minors. Same thing, full color. I think that the minor arcana has been renamed. So we have honey. So what is this? Is honey going to be the element of earth? And then skins is what? I'm like, what would skins be? Is it wands? Fire, yeah. So skins is going to be wands. And then songs is probably going to be water. So this is going to be cups. And the dreams is going to be swords. All right. So I just have to remember all of that when I'm pulling the cards. So beautiful deck box, which I do appreciate. I know some people don't like whenever a deck box is bigger than the deck. At this point, I just kind of keep everything. And if it's a deck that I really, really love, that I'm going to be using quite often, I'll put it in one of those tarot bags, a little velvet tarot bag. So I have not even looked through this. So this arrived, when I was having my surgery. So I did not get a chance because I was like, why don't I do a deck unboxing? And show what it looks like to people on YouTube. For all of my subscribers, this is a linen finish, which is, again, very nice. I know you don't usually get kind of a linen finish from mass-produced decks. It's not super thick, which is nice. I do have smaller hands. It does look like it's a slightly longer kind of deck. Let me just get a traditional tarot deck size. So this is more like a traditional tarot deck. So it's not as wide. Oh, it's the same width, but it is a little bit longer. So we do have that little bit of length on the card, and it is maybe a smidge. No, it's just a little bit longer than a traditional deck. So that is something to kind of take into consideration. If you're someone like me, I have smaller hands. I tend to struggle to shuffle really large decks or decks with like a ton of cards. That is something I tend to struggle with. And we have this beautiful backing, which is reversible. So that's nice if you're someone like me that reads reversals. So let's kind of look at these cards, because that is literally the showcase, is the artwork with these cards. Now, I would kind of talk about this being almost like a fantasy deck in some ways. It's earthy. It is, very intricate artwork, which is something that really drew me towards like wanting this deck, because as much as I love more simplistic decks, I do love something that just shows something super unique. I mean, even like the takes on stuff like this, where I'm like, this is so different from anything else I have in my collection. And if you're someone that maybe is still learning tarot and leaning very heavily on like the traditional symbolism from the Rider-Waite-Smith, this is not like a Rider-Waite-Smith copy. So that could also be something to take into consideration if like where you are in your practice. I feel pretty confident with my interpretation of the different, meanings of the cards and things like that. So for me, this is not something that I need to rely very heavily on the imagery, but this is also something that I would like utilize this imagery in a new way for my interpretations. So it's a beautiful magician. We have the High Priestess. It just looks wicked. You know what I mean? Like, look at that. There's like this like skeleton. It's just crazy. I love it. And then we have the Empress. They're just so, it feels so surreal and like just something so different from what you would traditionally kind of lean into. And it was one of the reasons why I was like, oh, I need to have this deck. And I loved this Lover's card. This is one of like my like birth cards, if that makes sense. It's like the Lovers and the Devil are both like my birth cards. So I'm always like, what's the Lover's card look like? What's the Devil card look like? The Chariot is stunning. I love the colors. I love all of the details. We have Strength. We have a creepy looking Hermit, but I love it. We have the Wheel. So there are some kind of traditional like symbols that you would naturally see, but it is a little different. And the details are just stunning. I think I could just sit with this forever, just looking at all of the details in all of the cards. We have Death, Temperance. We have the Devil looking crazy, which I love it. We have the Tower. Look at that. The Star. The Moon. That's a wicked looking moon. The Sun. Again, it's not always going to look super like familiar, which I do love. Judgment. We have the World. The Ace of Dreams. So this is going to be the Swords. They're just so beautiful. There's so many different details in here that I'm like, okay, this is going to be fun to read with. Not every client would like appreciate the imagery, but for the right client, I think this would be great. The Ten of Dreams, the Page of Dreams, the Knight, the Queen, and the King. Now, songs is going to be water. So this is going to be the cups. So the Two of Songs, the Three of Songs, the Four, the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, that's gorgeous, 10, and then we have the page, the knight, queen, and the king. That looks crazy. Now skins is going to be wands, so 2 of skins, lots of mushrooms, 3 of skins, the 4, the 5, all the snakes are crazy looking, 6, the 7, the 8, 9, 10, and the page, the knight, the queen, and the king. That is wicked looking. And then honey is going to be pentacles, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, the page, the knight, the queen, and then the king. Really stunning. Now these do have like a matte kind of burgundy like edge. It goes very well with the backs, and I think it goes very well with like just all of the other colors used in the deck. I'm excited to use this in my practice and kind of sit with it and kind of get to know this deck. Again, it's one that like I was so excited about, but just whenever it came out, I just was not in the financial position to like spend money on it. So I'm so glad that there has been a mass market run. I know it's not going to be as personalized or as maybe fun as the indie print version of it would have been, but I am all for finding decks that speak to you, using them, and even if it's just like, this is just the mass market run of it, it's all good. As long as you imbue that deck with the magic that speaks to you, I think that you'll be very happy. And as someone that has really followed the journey of this deck, and being so surprised that I saw that it was like a mass market deck, I was like, what? It's like, oh my God, add to cart immediately. I'm so glad to have been able to have gotten my hands on this deck because I think it'll be a lot of fun in my practice. So let me know what you guys think. I really hope that you guys are taking care of yourselves and doing things that you love. Please take care, stay safe, and as always, make good choices. Bye.